Dr. Manhattan. Hello, the Joker. He's my favorite Suicide Squad character from Marvel, created by Cac Jerby and Alan Moore. I love the Joker. Oh, good old Blue Balls himself. Dr. Manhattan is, he's... Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Brief History, featuring me, the one and only. Today's subject of analysis is John Osterman, aka Dr. Manhattan. One of the main characters of the Watchmen series created by Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons. Like always, we'll be covering their history, origin, and ability. Now, the only stories to actually read are Watchmen and Before Watchmen, mostly because they're self-contained stories that aren't really included in the main DC timeline. Except for recently, the Button motherfuckers, the Button. Dr. Manhattan confirmed, Watchmen confirmed, main DC timeline? Let's go! Born on August 14, 1929, John Osterman grew up in Germany with his parents as a clockmaker. Because of his father's desire for him to become a clockmaker as well, he also, for the next 6 years, around the time he grew up in Germany, 6-10 years, he also grew up to become a clockmaker. It was kind of like a family profession. At the age of 10, John and his family were forced to move out of Germany due to the Nazis hunting down the Jews. His mother died trying to escape Germany, but his dad and him managed to escape to New York and start a life as a watchmaker. 6 years later, the bomb on Hiroshima dropped, and his father realized that clockmaking is an outdated profession. Realizing this, he told John to pursue a life of science. He ends up going to Princeton University, where he receives his PhD in atomic physics. It's funny, a comic book character has a brighter future than me, huh? In early 1959, he moves to Gila Flats, where experiments are being conducted on intrinsic fields, which, if tampered with, can result in disintegration of physical objects. Keep that in mind, it'll come in handy later. Here, he befriends Wally Weaver and Janny Slater, where him and Janny later become lovers. About 1 month later, he plans on giving a fixed watch to Janny, but forgets it in a lab coat inside an intrinsic field testing generator, and as soon as he walks in, the machine turns on and the door locks behind him as a safety mechanism that's built into the machine. Talk about bad luck, man. Unable to turn off the machine or override the countdown, his colleagues are forced to watch him in his final moments up until his disintegration. And he just kind of dies. It's fucked. It's fucked because he looks down at the fixed watch. He's counting down the seconds until his time. Like the last thing he saw before his death were the seconds leading up to his death. That's really sad. Months following his death, the base began seeing apparitions, leading everyone to believe that the base was haunted. It later becomes clear that John's consciousness had survived, and the entire time he has been putting himself back together, atom by atom, molecule by molecule, ass hair by ass hair, through the knowledge of clockmaking. Now this is great, because the first time I read the Watchmen comic was back in 8th grade, and I kind of just thought, he just put himself back together. But the fact that they intrinsically weaved the fact that he was a clockmaker and him learning about clocks is such an intrinsic part of his core personality, that's amazing. Like, Alan Moore, I feel, is on one of my top comic book writers. Him alongside Jeff John and stuff. It's just, wow, dude. Alan Moore is amazing. Because Watchmen is only one story, we'll be talking about some of the most important moments in the Watchmen comics rather than a list of must-reads for the character. The most important moment in his history is his creation, obviously, or else we never would have seen of Dr. Manhattan when we wouldn't be having this video right now. The next moment is when Silk Spectre leaves Dr. Manhattan and he loses what's left of his humanity. This section is important to understand because this sets the tone for the character of Dr. Manhattan for the rest of the story. He loses what's left of his humanity and exchanges it for the omnipotence of a god. He sees all of humanity's struggles as just mere dust in the wind, like it's replaceable, you can't do anything about it, it'll happen. That's kind of his view on things after Silk Spectre leaves him, and then people start blaming him for certain other people that have been close to him in his life, that they start getting cancer. They say, oh, you're the cause of this, and it kind of just makes him lose faith in humanity, I suppose. Next, we have the moment where, spoiler alert, Dr. Manhattan kills Rorschach when he says he will tell people the truth about what happened with Ozymandias' plan for the greater good of humanity. It's probably the most shocking moment in the book, and that's saying something because this book involves rape, erectile dysfunction, and prostitution. Yeah, it's a real world book. Now, this one isn't confirmed as of yet, but it is believed he is responsible for the creation of the New 52 universe post Flashpoint. But it is indeed confirmed he had something to do with it, as shown in issue 4 of The Button, which confirms Dr. Manhattan in the Rebirth timeline, and he has something to do with it, and we're going to be watching it pretty soon. By the end of November, the Doomsday Clock is going to hit 12, and we're going to see some shit go down, ladies and gentlemen. And what's even better? Jeff Johns is writing the story. I know. You know I love me some Jeff Johns, boy. He can do anything. But let's explain what exactly anything is. First of all, the alteration of matter itself. I am nowhere near finished. He can also travel through time. He has invulnerability, intangibility, can create energy constructs, fly, can increase his size at will. He has godlike strength, not superhuman strength. No, not Superman levels of strength. He has godlike strength. What that means, I have no idea. But he has godlike strength. And he can rip apart a person from the inside out. So it's fair to say that he's pretty broken. Yeah. I think Dr. Manhattan's character arc overall is just really interesting when it's a man who gains the powers of a god, and when he gains these powers, he says, I'm still a guy. I'm still the same guy you knew. I may have these powers, but I haven't changed. And later on in his time, about probably say 60, 50 years forward, I forget the exact timeline, but several years later, he loses his humanity. He forgets what being a human is, hence him going through all these points in his life, trying to, or just kind of like making observations and statements about him, because he just simply forgot what it is to be human. Because he has this powers, he's basically immortal. He doesn't age. He can alter matter itself. He can create constructs. He can re-alter the molecular composition of atoms, as seen in the scene where he goes to Mars and he builds a castle on Mars, dude. It's like a glass castle or something, but it's really interesting because he alters the molecular structure of the atoms on Mars to build the castle. Also, the fact that he's, I wouldn't say corruptible, but he understands what's better for the greater good, you know? Like the lives of the few, or no, the lives of the many outweigh the needs of the few. You get me? That's kind of his view. And that's why he kills Rorschach. Rorschach says, you know what, dude? I'm justice for justice, dude. Rorschach is incorruptible. That's why he's going to tell the world what Ozymandias did. But, you know, Dr. Manhattan won't allow it and kills him. And I think a really interesting plot twist of the book is that he left a journal behind explaining everything that he found. Rorschach left a journal, and this journal has all of his notes about the murder of the comedian. He has everything that happened between the murder of the comedian to that point up to where he died. He has it written, and it shows this dude with the Watchmen shirt. He's filing papers or something, and it shows the book there, which means that it either hints that he's gonna read the book and it's gonna uncover what happened, or something to that extent, you know. I kind of went off on a tangent again, but Dr. Manhattan's a really cool character, and I'm really glad they're rolling him into DC Rebirth. Some people aren't happy. Some people are saying that, ooh, Dr. Manhattan belongs in Watchmen because everyone else has no superpowers and just Dr. Manhattan. And I mean, it's true, right? But it's Dr. Manhattan, for Christ's sake. You can't, dude. It's great. I love that they're introducing Dr. Manhattan because it's introducing an element we haven't seen yet in DC, I suppose. I don't know about going all the way back to the 80s, but Dr. Manhattan created the New 52 and Rebirth, I believe. He had something to do with those two universes, and the fact that one guy is responsible for just doing that, for just changing an entire universe of beings like the Anti-Monitor, beings like Parallax, beings beings of universal power, absolute power, is just a mind blow, and it shows his limit. Like, not even his limits. Like, I'm pretty sure he can do a lot more than that. It's really interesting to see how they're gonna flesh him out as a character, and whether or not he's gonna be a villain or whether or not he's gonna be a good guy. So I really like what they're doing with Dr. Manhattan. So that's gonna wrap it up for today. It was a little bit on the shorter side. I mean, from what I'm recording right now, it's a little short. Editing might be a little bit longer, but if you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like. I'd love if you guys would leave me a like. That'd be great, because it helps shape the channel to what you guys want to see. If you guys don't like it as much, I probably won't post as much. But if you guys do enjoy this, I will be posting a lot more. And if you guys enjoyed this particular video and you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe. I'm the amazing What's His Face, and I'll see you guys all later.